there's a documented mistrust in information that's been given to a lot of our community, or the lack of information from being test subjects, being ill-informed. So it's a lot different now than what it was back then, but you didn't know if you were getting a drug or a placebo. There weren't consent forms. We just have a very much a documented history of that, especially the Black and brown community. So, and then it's just more so now, we're always afraid of getting bad news, because a lot of times, I also think what adds to it is we kind of know, we feel something going on, and we know we didn't get it checked early enough. And we know that if we go to the doctor, there's potential to be bad news, and we run from the bad news. So we'd rather be oblivious or ignorant to the fact that it may be something wrong versus going and finding out and it shifting your whole life and your whole perspective. If we were making these things routine and maybe having more smaller clinics versus going to big hospitals, smaller clinics, going to see a nurse instead of having to see a doctor just to run your test, things like that.
Welcome to another edition of the CYR Podcast. Today we got a special guest. All of our guests are special. Errik Ejike.
What's going on?
What's good with you, bro?
Not much, man. Everything good. So,
I feel that. I'm glad to have you on the show, man. Glad that you were willing to come out, talk with us, break bread with us. And,
yes, sir. Appreciate you having me, bro.
Most definitely. Tell us about you, bro.
That's a loaded question. Like, where we starting from?
Who are you and what do you do?
Again, Errik Ejike. Currently, I do a lot of things, but my day job right now, I'm the CEO over at the North Omaha Area Health Clinic, also known as the N.O.A.H Clinic. We're a low cost and no cost, pretty much a free health clinic. Do a lot of primary care, STD checks, community education outreach, things like that. So we're located over off 5060 Names, right by the DMV, right across the parking lot. So I do that, and then by some nights, I DJ. Been DJing for 8 years. I also do events and put on different events for the city. Just finished up an event, one of my big events, the sneaker soiree. Just got done with that. Actually got some more sneakers to drop off to the Yes House.
Nice.
Because we collect those to give back to the community as well. Kind of community volunteer. Been doing a lot of things. I've been helping out at the boxing gym probably for the last 4 years. Getting beat up and beating people up. It's pretty cool. And yeah, I do kind of whatever.
I feel that. Yeah, you're doing a lot, bro.
Podcast. So I also podcast myself. The creator and one of the co-hosts for the CYR Podcast. We've been going for about 3.5 years now. I think we're about to be released episode 120. So we've been rolling.
Come on.
Well, they say 98% of podcasts don't make it past episode 2. So I think we're doing all right.
Yeah. And y'all on the road to monetization. We was just talking about that.
Yep. So we are pretty close. We just got to meet the YouTube metric for watch time. So make sure y'all check out CYR. If you go to ANDR.xyz, it's our landing page, and you can find everything you need. However you watch, listen, it's on there. So we've been moving and grooving, man, really trying to create an outlet for the city, media outlet that's just been missing. Radio always has a spot, and even that's been missing up till recently with 98.7, The Culture with DJ Mr. Soul. So radio's been missing, but as the world has progressed, podcasting has become a thing here to stay, that people have a different form of media outlet. So we wanted to create something just to put people on, primarily in music and music business, but we'll branch out a little bit in entertainment and things of that nature. But make sure people not just here, but people who come through here and the surrounding areas have an outlet for people to find them, tell their side of the story. People get discovered and just promote what they got going on, man. I like to support good artists. So if you're making good music, you're doing good music business, all that, we'll holler at you. So If you trash, leave me alone.
He said, I ain't trying to hear it.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to hear it. No, I feel that, bro. Everything that you're doing right now, it sounds like it's all in a giving back capacity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your position at N.O.A.H or at the clinic, the podcast, even just like the DJing, like everything is serving people, and I think that's really dope. I want to talk a little bit about the N.O.A.H clinic. Can you break that down? Because I believe truly there's a lot of people here in the city that don't know about it and don't tap into the resource of N.O.A.H. Like, because y'all offer so much.
Yeah. So the N.O.A.H clinic was founded, I believe, in the year 2000 from its founder, who was a nurse, Mr. Ira Combs. He was a nurse over at UNMC. He noticed and recognized that the North Omaha area was pretty scarce with health information, like accurate and proper health information. So him and a colleague literally were providing health information and health screenings out the trunk of his car at a church parking lot. And from that, it started to grow and to get support. So they ended up getting a building, the Lighthouse building that's on around 53rd and Ames. They moved there. And now we're in our current location, I think for the last 7-8 years, where we're on 5620 Ames Avenue. We're in a building where there are barbers and beauticians. So it's definitely like a good hiding spot for people who may be nervous about any kind of health checks that they need. But essentially our motto is one that we take care of the patients regardless of their ability to pay. So you can come in with no money. You can come in and give us a fake name. We don't care. As long as we got a way to contact you and we can get you the health services you need and get you connected with whatever you need. So we do a lot of primary care. So if you want we do point of care testing. So we can test for cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension, all that type of stuff right in the clinic, as well as STD and STI checks. We even do testing, and we can get you linked up with treatment and get you some treatment. Anybody that may test positive HIV, we actually have a direct line to the UNMC HIV center, so we can get you started over there. We actually have syphilis medication, which that is pretty scarce around here, and it's made a comeback, which is crazy. So make sure y'all be careful.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of that as well. So any STDs we can take care of. We also have nurse practitioners as our providers. So we have 3 nurse practitioners. 2 come from UNMC. One specializes in gerontology and works with our older and elder population. One specializes in women's health. So if you need pap smears, things like that, women's wellness checks, she can take care of that. And then we have another nurse practitioner who's she's a general nurse practitioner, so she can do pretty much any and everything. And she comes from us. She works also with Charles Drew and with the college as well. And then we have a mental health specialist, a licensed mental health specialist we contract with as well with Lewis Counseling Services. So 2 days out of the week, she comes and devotes her time to N.O.A.H. So those become N.O.A.H patients, and we're able to see mental health related patients as well. And then we are big on community outreach. So we're always out doing presentations, testing, walking around in costumes, prevention man. We'll be in the parades. We have people who do STD outreach, so a lot of condom distribution, education classes. We teach classes. We have summer programs. We kind of do a little bit of everything. Whatever the community needs in the health realm, we try to take care of. And if we can't take care of it, we can get you connected with somebody who can take care of it. So that's what we've been doing. I've been there about 1.5 years. And we are, we're growing, we're getting better, and really trying to push now for a capital campaign to do some things. I'll say that. So really getting in fundraising mode, like big time fundraising mode, so that we can continue to stay here and take care of our community. Because the way the world's going, the way the country's going, there's going to be some shifts in how healthcare is delivered. And I think a free clinic is going to be more necessary than ever coming up with some of these changes and things that are happening. So we need to put ourselves in a position to be able to handle the uptick in possible patients coming over the next couple of years. So that's what we're working on.
Definitely. What do you think are some of the biggest what's the word I'm looking for?
Like hurdles?
Not necessarily hurdles, but like my mind keeps on going to discrepancy, but I know it's not a discrepancy. Like when patients are coming in, like what are some of the biggest some of the biggest problems or concerns that you're noticing, just like with patients coming in, or like what I can't even think of. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think with our patient pool, we actually just in general, we get a lot of patients who have been or have felt neglected from the primary healthcare system. So a lot of people that even come in may see this as the last resort of getting some type of healthcare. And a lot of people, we're kind of a non-traditional clinic. So our clinic feels very homey, and we'll put it like that. It's a very homey clinic. But we also make sure that we don't have restrictions on the amount of time it takes to see patients, because we're big on education and empowerment. So people come to our clinic because it feels good. They feel welcome. They get more time with the providers. They get educated, and they know that we're going to do our best on behalf of them and make sure that they get what they need. And we're also never going to send them home with a bill. Like, we don't bill them. We'll bill insurance. We won't bill the patients. So like in general, that's our patient pool has been a lot of times mistreated in other healthcare systems, or felt neglected, and they needed somewhere to go where they know that they can kind of be themselves and, still get the care that's definitely needed. So we see that a lot. As far as from a health condition standpoint, we definitely, because we're kind of known, we got big when it came to STD. So a lot of people come in just to get those checks, get that testing done and get that treatment done. So we see a lot of STD patients. Don't worry, if I see you, I can't say nothing. Please come see me. You know what I'm saying? But I can't say nothing. But we get a lot of those because of our nurse practitioners. We even have a specialty foot clinic for diabetic patients, for elderly. So a lot of times when a patient is diabetic, we have to pay special attention to what's going on with their feet to make sure there are no extra issues. So the first Friday of every month, we have a foot clinic where our elderly patients are able to come in, and the nurse practitioner is examining their feet. She even clips their toenails to make sure nothing's going on, no gangrene, no fungus, and make sure blood flowing through their feet and things like that. So we kind of take the extra care of our patients versus trying to churn a number and how many patients we can see per hour and per day. It's more about, we want to take care of each individual person that walks through our door. So that's really kind of what sets us apart and kind of what we see our patient pool coming from. And even to the point, we get a lot of transient patients, especially when it comes to STD checks. So, if we just being honest, like, people do things. People are sex workers, right? They'll come to our clinic when they in town and need checks because they know they can come here, get it done, make sure they clean so they can go work, right? We appreciate it, because if you're going to be working in our community, regardless of people like it's legal or illegal, they're doing it. But at least we can keep our community people safe, because you're coming here being responsible. So it helps everybody else who partakes to be responsible. So, we have that reputation. People know they can come here. There's no judgment. You can come in whatever condition and get seen and get checked.
Facts.
Yeah. Real quick, I almost forgot. As a licensed therapist, I'm big on mental health, and I'm big on making sure that you're taking care of you. And I also want to get rid of this stigma that we got towards mental health. Like, there's nothing wrong with talking to a therapist. So if you're somebody that's out there that really wants to start getting their mind right, who wants to really start understanding their emotions and being able to process things that you probably repressed, that you probably ain't talked about, that you might have been even ashamed about talking about. Or check this out. You might not be ashamed about it, and you just ain't found a person for you to talk to. You want to find somebody that's relatable, that can understand you. You got a little swag, you know what I'm saying? A little swag. And they not too far removed. Make sure that you tap in with Bear Company Counseling. All you got to do is hop down in the description, click the link, put in your info, and the front desk rep will reach out to you and get you plugged in with a therapist that I promise you, as long as you're ready, will help you to get whatever you need right up here so that you can succeed in every other avenue and aspect of your life. Tap in with a therapist today at Bear Company Counseling. Now you can get back to the video for real. I promise I won't hop back in again.
Why do you think it's such a big stigma on just speaking to STD, STI checks? Why do you think there's such a big stigma around like getting checked? Because I know growing up, like if you went and got an STD check, everybody looking at you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but in my mind, I'm like, no, every time I hit something, I'm about to go get tested. Condom, no condom, like getting checked. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's because we think it's nasty. you being nasty, but honestly, there's a stigma around sex. As free and open as we are about sex acts, we're not free and open still about talking and discussing about sex and sex acts. So therefore, when it comes to about now testing as a result of a sexual act, we definitely not going to talk about it. So there's still that, and we haven't made it comfortable and routine enough for people just to be in the habit and going to do it, right? Even myself coming up in college, especially in grad school, like I just made it routine. It don't matter what I'm doing or doing nothing. If I got a girlfriend or if I'm out in the streets, I made it routine just to make it routine. So it was never an issue. Like, nope, know the nurses by name, come in. You know what I'm saying? Literally like, it's just that time, I'm coming, see y'all next month. Just because it ain't like, and I came up, my master's degree is in public health. So I can't be out here preaching something that I ain't practicing, right? So, and I'm like, we humans. So I know sometimes you're going to do some stuff that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't going to wear a condom every time. Stop playing with yourself. So, but you can go get tested every time.
Yeah.
And you should be able to track. And I'm teaching these students about this in class, and I'm like, practice what you preach. And then don't make it a big deal. I kind of lighten the mood about it. Like, we're just going because we going just to go. It ain't no different than any other health care checks. I'm like, you should do it more often than your other healthcare checks. I mean, we ain't going to the doctor. We go to that doctor. If you don't go to no other doctor, if you active, go to that doctor. So it just, and it's simple. The testing now is simple. Pretty much you can do express testing for stuff. So it's just letting people know what it takes. Come in, make it comfortable. I've seen plenty of people I know at the clinic. I say, what's up? Like, I'm like, come holler at me. Like, it's not a big deal. Here, take these condoms, lube. We got all kind of stuff up there. I think we got female condoms, lube, dental dams. We got
all of that.
We got everything but the toys. like Mike needs to get them too. Like, just it's whatever. Like, but we know we deal with real people, so we have the real conversation. It's not we just lighten the load, lighten the mood, and keep it going.
Yeah. See, that's something I noticed though. What you just mentioned, it's like a lot of people won't even go to the doctors to get their normal checkups, and so then when it comes to sexual checkups, that's even more taboo. Like you said, like, because we're not comfortable with talking about like the back end of sexual acts. Why is there such a stigma in the community, do you think, to even going to the doctors and just getting our regular checkups, checking on our blood pressure, checking on our cholesterol levels, check like all of that? Because I feel like in our community we see a lot of health conditions that plague us when it comes to things like diabetes, when it comes to things like coronary heart disease. You know what I'm saying? Like all of those different things that could potentially be prevented if we were monitoring our health?
Yeah. I mean, in general, there's a documented history of why we have a mistrust of the healthcare system, right?
Speak on it.
That's, we don't even have to go too deep, but there's a documented mistrust in information that's been given to a lot of our community, or the lack of information from being test subjects, being ill-informed. So it's a lot different now than what it was back then, but you didn't know if you were getting a drug or a placebo, a fake drug, so they can see the results. They weren't consent forms. We just have a very much a documented history of that in our community, especially the Black and brown community. So, and then it's just more so now, people are just, we're always afraid of getting bad news, because a lot of times I also think what adds to it is we kind of know, we feel something going on, and we know we didn't get it checked early enough, whatever it could be. We know we've been a little off, and we know that if we go to the doctor, it's potential to be bad news, and we run from the bad news. So we'd rather be oblivious or ignorant to the fact that it may be something wrong versus going and finding out and it shifting your whole life and your whole perspective. But it can save lives, and we just gotta, again, if we were making these things routine and maybe having more smaller clinics versus going to big hospitals, smaller clinics, going to see a nurse instead of having to see a doctor just to run your test, things like that. That's why I think that like nurse practitioners play a vital role in lessening the anxiety that comes with going to see the doctor. Well, I'm not a doctor, I'm a nurse. Now I'm a higher level of nurse, and I can actually prescribe and do things, but nurses are tend in their education to be able to be the care provider. So they're going to it's going to feel like they're taking more precautions, more care of the patient than maybe a typical MD would, So I think just we have to get in the habit of finding where it's comfortable for us to go, get these checks, get these screenings, and start to work on ourselves the best we can and improve. And I think plays a factor in it too. If you tell me something wrong, a lot of us feel like we don't have the means to change it. So we don't want nothing that's going to require surgery or treatment, because that's going to cost and we might not have it. If it requires lifestyle changes and you are strapped either financially or based on where your neighborhood is, the accessibility to proper foods and things like that, you're going to feel like, well, I can't do nothing. This is where I live. This is all I got to choose from to a degree. And until we re-educate ourselves out of that and learn more on that end, preventative medicine, which is more of what you do every day. This is what you do every day, what you eat, how you move, is your preventative medicine. Until we get more educated on those things and get in the habits of those things, it's going to be tough just to get in the habit of going to the doctor and potentially finding out something bad.
How do you think we start integrating preventative care into our day-to-day culturally?
There's a couple ways. I think there's a top-down and a bottom-up approach. Top-down approach, one thing I've always been big on learning about the medical system is why everybody wants to be an MD and nobody wants to be a DO, a doctor of osteopathic medicine. DOs typically believe in more holistic healing. So instead of prescribing you medication first, they're going to try to find the problem and see if there's another way that's non-invasive, whether non-surgical or don't have to take anything, to see if we can fix the problem first. And I think if we had more DOs as doctors who took that approach, it would start to help people understand and learn about the different ways we can treat ourselves and bodies. From the bottom-up approach, I think we need to, learn more. One, we need to get our hands back in the soil and learn about food, and then learn more about what is, we kind of already know what healthy eating is, but there's a stigma around it that's not even true, that it's more expensive. And thank goodness that there are no more dollar menus, right? Because now it's more expensive to eat bad food than it is to eat good food. Like, I promise you. So Like even myself, I've been cooking a lot more because I have this is not a plug, but I use HelloFresh.
Okay.
Now, so it comes out to about $10 per serving.
Nice.
Right. That's what the butter balances out. You can't go nowhere and get a $10 meal anymore. You get what I'm saying? Like that's if you go get a number one from any fast food restaurant, it's gonna be a little bit more than $10. So now it's healthier, it's cheaper, quote unquote, cheaper for me to eat healthy. And this is a service that's sending me food. Think about if I would just go look up the recipes and buy myself, it'd be even cheaper.
Even cheaper.
So we have to get out of that mindset that it's expensive to eat healthy. And we need to stop thinking that we have to have stuff pre-made. Like we can go and cook and figure this out. Like I tell people like, go get some fruit. Fruit expensive. I'm like, no, it's not. I said, you bought the watermelon that's in the container that costs $12.
Man.
That's only a fourth of a watermelon, but it's pre-cut. So they charge you $12 for it, but you can get a whole large watermelon with seeds for $8. You go to the farmer's market, get the giant watermelon for $10. But now you got 6 of those containers. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. For less money. But it just takes a little work. And we have to get used to the work it takes to eat healthy and cook and prepare our meals. And they all don't take a long time. And just get into the basics. Like even if you can't afford fresh, I tell people you go from fresh. If you can't do fresh, go frozen. And then if you can't do frozen, go canned. But if you can go fresh or you can go frozen, it's a microwave or a boiled pot away from eating your vegetables, getting some nice seasonings. Buy your we got to teach people to buy seasonings separate. So don't get the mixes because they're mixed with sugars and salts.
Yeah.
You can use some salt because your body needs salt. Your body needs sugars, but you got to be able to put your own in there so you know how much you're putting. But getting your regular seasonings, like them are $1 at, well, I was going to say Big Lots, but they closed down. But you can go to the dollar side of the grocery store. They have all this stuff. So it's just getting into the habit of it's going to take a little work. Instead of going and sitting 5 minutes in line, it's going to take 35 minutes to cook it.
Yeah.
But that's okay. And the results will come. Like we are an embodiment of our habits. Whatever our habits are, they show up. Mm-hmm. We got to recognize that. You see it in our energy. You see it in our face. You see it in our skin. If it's glowing or not, you see it in our weight. You see it. You see what we do, regardless of what people think. You can't fake it.
We've been trained to enjoy convenience. Mm-hmm. Like everything is convenience, bro. Like think about it. Our phones are convenience. It used to be you could only make a phone call off of your phone. Mm-hmm. And then they started having text. I remember when they first brought text to phone.
Bro, they charged us per text. Hey. They charged us per text. We couldn't even get on the phone till after
7 o'clock.
If you was lucky 7. If you didn't have a good plan, it was 9 p.m.
And then weekends was always free. It was the nights in the week, man. But now it's like your phone is that's your calculator, that's your notepad, that's your internet, that's your email, that's your convenience. Mm-hmm. Like everything now is created for convenience, and we've been duped under the guise, like you said, of like it's more expensive to be healthy in all ways. You know what I'm saying? Like even getting physically active, like it takes more time to keep yourself in physical shape than it does to be out of shape, which if we're looking at it in the moment right now, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of extra time because you got to get moving. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And if you're looking at it in the aspect of, I got to cook this food, I got to do this, yeah, it's going to take a little bit more time now. But when we look at it in the long run, it takes a lot less time. Mm-hmm. Because in the long run, if I'm not paying attention to my health, like I'm going to be hurting a lot more and a lot longer. I'm going to have these symptomologies or whatever it is. That's gonna bring me down. I'm gonna have medical bills eventually, like when I can't avoid it anymore, when it's right in my face, and my family members are gonna feel that too. You know what I'm saying? When do you think that transition of convenience for us, like instead of getting to the soil, like you said, you know what I'm saying? Like actually taking the time and putting in a little bit of extra work. When did we start to transition from from getting active to banking more on convenience?
I mean, one of the biggest game changers in how we operate as humans always around the world was the internet. And as the internet grew, it started to learn how to do commerce. And in commerce, it's about convenience. So not only do we not have to ship to this place, we can ship stuff directly to your house. We don't have to move as much because of the internet. The internet probably was the biggest shift worldwide, just because of everything it provides, and it's a good thing. It just has negative symptoms, right? And sometimes we lean too much into the negative symptoms. But I think that was the big shift, the late '90s, especially early 2000s, as it's really started to. Once we got past Y2K scare, it started to shift. Yeah. Once we realized the world had ended, they started investing in it and really pushing it. So that's a big thing. And then as we built better technology, it often replaces the human portions of a lot of these jobs. Like people don't understand, like America's the most obese and unhealthy developed country in the world, right? I think we're now up to about 60% of us are obese, overweight or obese. 60%, 6 out of 10 people.
That's terrible.
And I think what's crazy in the Black community, and I have to go find the actual statistics, but between our men and women, we have the largest gap. So we're not that far off, but we have the largest gap between the men are less obese than the Black women. And that's almost universal around the board, but we have the largest gap in between the rates. Mm-hmm. And I think what we really, really got to do is find ways to incorporate activity in our daily routines, and to be honest, one reason men are less obese is because of the type of jobs we work. Like we have less desk jobs. More men are gonna be in the manual labor force than there are women. That's just what it is and where it's gonna be. So they're active. A lot more men are just active by way of jobs. So I've worked at UPS, and I remember working at UPS after college, and I was playing football and all that. I went to UPS. I lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks working in the factory. Yeah. Right, just like that. Like, so it's just by way of occupation, we get that activity. So if we're not active, like, now we working desk jobs. Yeah. We got to go get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm 5 a.m., you know what I'm saying? In there at the gym. So it's finding ways to get active and just doing what we need to do. It's okay. Instead of looking at it as inconveniencing ourselves, we got to look at it as investing in ourselves and putting it into our daily routines, and just moving somewhat and changing how we eat just a little bit, And it's like, we don't have to give everything up. I think that's a big scare. People like, I can't do nothing. Like, fam, I was kicking it with one of my homegirls. She bodybuilds now. And we were up at a reunion in Ohio. She eating pizza and stuff. Like, I got to eat a lot. Like, she's like, I got to eat a lot. And she like, yay big. She's tiny. Yeah. But she can still eat pizza. Like, telling people the most fit people on this earth still can eat somewhat junk food, right? It's just about moderation and what time you eat and how much other stuff you're doing. So as long as you are balancing out your activity, balancing out, your waters, getting your vitamins in, and getting all that in, you're good. So I think we just got to get out of the mindset that it's taken from our day when it's actually adding days to us. Yeah. It's taken from your day, but you just added a day to your life, potentially. So we got to look at the long run and not be on the short end of the stick.
100%. Bro, I want to pivot a little bit. Mm-hmm. You got your master's in public health. Mm-hmm. What led to that, bro? Because, I think I only know one other Black professional who has a master's. Mm-hmm. I think she actually has a doctorate in public health. But I don't know too many people in public health that look like you and me.
It's crazy because that was not my first choice. So I went to Ohio. I went to a junior college. Shout out Kilgore College. I went to JUCO for a year and a half. Played 2 seasons there. Transferred to Ohio University on a football scholarship. And I wanted to. What I had got into was at the end of my high school year, I got into athletic training because I was like, I started thinking like, hey, if I can't play the game forever, let's say I don't make it to the league, I want to be around the game. So I was going to be an athletic trainer. High school, after my senior season, that next semester, I started being an athletic trainer. Literally, I had the good job because I was traveling with the track girls and with the soccer girls. I was like, yes, put me. I'm going what? Yeah, I'm going. I'm on the trip. I'm with y'all. Yeah, you need your thigh wrapped? I got you. I got you. What you need? Yeah. I got you. But you want to massage that out? I got you. But that's real. So I wanted to be a trainer. Went to junior college. I'm in A&P. I actually love anatomy and physiology. Like I was doing real well in it. Got to Ohio. No lie, I had to declare a major because I'm coming up on my junior year. You got to declare a major. And in sports, you have an academic advisor that deals with all the athletes. I have one that's just your general academic advisor because as a student, you have one. Mm-hmm. But then we have one that's sports. He looked me dead in my face and said, hey, do you want to do health service administration or coaching? I said, what? As a major, like, what are you talking about? I want to be an athletic trainer. He's like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, why I can't do it? He's like, you don't have the time based on the schedule to do it. I was like, but I can make the time. What are you talking about? And he's like, nah, man, he wouldn't sign off on it. So I had to change my major. And after I signed off on health service administration, he's like, oh yeah, we had one of the volleyball girls. She's in athletic training. I went pissed, called my pops that night. I was like, I'm finna leave. I'm finna transfer. I don't care where I gotta go. But I ended up staying. So I just stayed in health service administration. And then what I ended up doing, talking to my advisor, my on-campus advisor, I was like, I got to do something else too. So I got into environmental health as a minor. He was pissed because he's like, why'd you go get a minor? Like, I'm like, fam, you're not in charge of my education. Like, y'all only here because I'm playing ball. Like, don't do that. Y'all ain't gonna help me in life. Right. I did that. And while I was there in Ohio, I had a professor. She was super cool. Her name was Amanda Childress. And she was, I forgot what class she was teaching, and it piqued me because it was around public health. And so she was like, yeah, you should come do a practicum, do your practicum with us. We had to do a practicum and an internship to graduate out of college. So I did a practicum in a health promotion office. And my first project I did was I created a holiday hookup station in bags. So I was slanging condoms and lube, like at the school university, like literally made a brick wall and all this, like literally a stand, like giving out condoms and lube. Cause we had a contract with Trojan at the university. Oh, nice. I went to a party school. So we had all kind of crazy kind of contracts. So I'm over here giving out stuff. And that was like my introduction. Ended up doing an internship at Health Recovery Services and doing a lot of stuff with youth through that program. Doing a lot of anti-drug stuff. So I was in the public health realm. Then when I left school, went back home for a year, had to I can't do this. I started working at UPS. I got to get a real job. So I'm like, I'm gonna go back to school. I looked up a school. I literally applied to one university for my grad school. That was Armstrong Atlantic State University in Savannah, Georgia. I applied to one. I got in, called them. They was like, hey, we got these out-of-state tuition waivers. Because they have so many, every college at a university has so many they have to give away. And people don't know this. You can go and basically go to an out-of-state school, but pay in-state tuition. Oh, nice. Which changes the whole ball game. So I got one of the waivers. Literally, folks went out there, helped me find an apartment. I moved out there and I was in public health school. So I was out there for 2 years. And while out there, I was doing public health work, bro. I think I had an internship there. I was being basically a drug and alcohol counselor. So I was working with one. He had me doing some of the counseling. Again, I didn't counsel some of the people at the school. Like, yo, I can't say nothing. Y'all good.
Yeah.
But just don't get pulled over no more. So did some of that. Worked at a youth mental health facility overnight. So I was on the night shift working. That was an interesting time because the only youth state facility in the state of Georgia. So we would get kids that's getting police escorted 4 hours overnight to come there. Very interesting time in there, but it wasn't bad. The kids was never the problem. It would be the other adults who was lazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I just kept being in public health promotion, bro. Like I just saw it fit to. I found that field useful for the actual public if we apply it correctly and are educating people and giving them information. And it's very vast and broad. So I didn't have to stick with like one area. I didn't have to stick with like STDs. I could go to drugs. We can go to parks and recs. We can look at the design of a restaurant, all this kind of stuff. Like it was very vast. And I actually got interested in it. I forgot because I got interested in it because they said, I thought about being a health inspector. Oh, and they was like, yeah, so as a health inspector, most states you can carry a pistol. I'm like, what? Oh man, I'm about to. So he was like, yeah, if you go to some of the states, you go to the meatpacking places, like, sometimes you might see something, you gotta be strapped up to get out of there. I was like, hey, that sounds cool. I want to be a health inspector. Just walk in with the blam on me, like, what's up? I'm here to see. I'll say something. I'm here to see your meat, but whoa. In your packing plant. Let me check this out. Not that meat. That's the doctor go see that meat. But nah. But I would have had the blammer on me. That'd have been fun.
I feel that. Were there any influences early on in your life that you can think about when it comes to just like health that you think could have contributed to exploring deeper into this field as you started getting more interested?
Yeah, I mean, my mom's a nurse. She's an RN. So it kind of begins and ends there. So my mom's a nurse. I don't even know if it was too many other people in the health field. Again, wasn't my first choice. I just wanted to stay around. I was good in math. And I wanted to stay around kind of in the sciences and stuff like that. So, or the health sciences. So, wanting to be a trainer and all that was just from me wanting to stay around the game and stay around athletics and things like that and, make a career. But my mom definitely being a nurse and being about health and stuff, like, yeah, she always made sure we took care of ourselves and wasn't doing the most and giving me them pep talks before I go out. She'd be like, all right, you know the rules. No drinking, no drugs. If they fighting, get out. If they shooting, get down. Say the same thing every time. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So
now you're not originally from Omaha, are you?
Nah, I'm from Tyler, Texas.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
Okay. So how did going from JUCO, Ohio, Georgia, up to the middle of the country in Omaha, how did that even?
Like how did it happen? Or, yeah. I'll say be quick. In Texas, I was playing football. I was recruited. I was top 100 in the state. Playing safety, got injured. I had 2 surgeries. I had a season-ending surgery my senior year. So all my potential offers wiped away. So coach at the JUCO didn't even know I was available. He was like, you still ain't? I'm like, nah. So I went down there, got signed up with them, started working out in the summer, and did that. Had an opportunity to leave early, but I already promised the coach I wouldn't. Because most people don't know about JUCO. Most people there because of grades. Yeah. They don't make the grades, so they don't qualify for a typical D1 or D2 university yet.
You was on last chance. That's what you saying. Yeah,
to a degree, but it wasn't my last chance. It was just But it was like we had 2 high school All-Americans on our team at junior college, like 2 actual high school first team All-Americans, and they had JUCO because they didn't make the grades. But that wasn't my case, and I could have left early, but I had literally promised. We took a road trip to TCU to go see one of his former players. Oh, he ended up going pro too, Marvin White, Gator. And coach, before we left, he was like, yeah, we're going to go up there. He's like, you planning on leaving? Or you sound like, coach, I'm going to stay. I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. Didn't know that the TCU coach was going to offer me while we right there. Like, wait, what? He was like, I was like, I'm like, this for real? Like, oh, nah, I promised my coach I'll stay, Like, he real life was, and wild. I think my coach knew it. So, but it's all good. It worked out. Then from there, after a year and a half, shopping tape around, Ohio University found me. Got an offer from them. I think I got an offer from them, I almost want to say the day before Christmas Eve or something like that.
Oh, nice.
And then like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, I flew up in New Year's Day, 2007. So I was there 3.5 years, played ball, few injuries. Did 3.5 years there, so 5 years total of college. Went home for a year. Was working, trying to apply for jobs, couldn't get a job nowhere with this little health service administration degree. And I was like, I gotta go to grad school. Applied to grad school, went out to Georgia for 2 years, went back home because I thought I had a job. Didn't pan out at this one university. I actually talked myself. I made them realize that the job description was BS. And because it was no real, I still remember it today, it was no responsibilities for real. I said, I'm finna get a job just to go meet and talk to people. This is crazy. But didn't get that job, went back home, again, back to UPS with a master's degree now, throwing boxes. Interviewed for job online with Creighton University. Got that offer, got a moving stipend and hitched my car up, put all my stuff from college. Mom bought me a dining room table set and an air mattress and moved up here with nothing and nobody.
So you ain't know what you was going into when you moved up.
I didn't care. I go where the opportunity's at. Like, I ain't afraid to make a move. Like, it's whatever. I don't need comfort. You know what I'm saying? I need a chance. So I moved up here, didn't know nobody. Actually had a couple old teammates that were from here, but I didn't really have a lot of contact with them. But yeah, I popped up December, that was 2010, 2011. One of them, I get them out. No, it was into 2012. I got here December 30th, 2012, about 5 minutes before the leasing office closed for my apartment so I can get my keys.
Dang.
I would have been sleeping in the truck. Moved everything in myself that night in the snow.
That was wild.
I was in my apartment chilling. Yeah. Spent New Year's Eve in a brand new apartment, brand new city, just chilling. So I was good. I didn't care.
What are some of the biggest cultural differences that you noticed between where you grew up in Tyler, Texas, and here?
It's crazy. Like, Tyler is slow. There ain't nothing to do in Tyler. And I know people in Omaha, ain't nothing to do. Like, fam, ain't nothing to do in Tyler. Like, from an entertainment, it's crazy because actually in Tyler, though, I will say coming up, we had like, I didn't go out a lot, but we had like teen clubs and stuff like that. And then when I was an adult, would go out because you can get in under 21. We had big clubs. But I think there wasn't, like, I'm not a person that gets culture shock. So for me, there wasn't a big difference outside of just available things to do. And kind of neighborhood, I will say the neighborhood dynamics are very different. So in Tyler, Tyler was a dry county. Mm-hmm. So there was no alcohol. So, you couldn't just go purchase liquor. You had to go to what we call the line or the county line to go get the liquor. Oh, dang. So people like, I'm finna head to the line. So they got to drive 20 minutes to go to the county line to go to the liquor store and bring it back in. And with that, though, the neighborhoods were different. Like Tyler was not a violent place as far as shootings and stuff like that. It just wasn't. Shifted a little bit after what was the hurricane in New Orleans? Katrina. Shifted when the New Orleans and Louisiana folks came down there, and then some things happened. Tried to punk some of it. It didn't go down like it. It was a lot of static, and that's when things upticked a little. But it's very quiet in comparison. Like we'll knuckle up place. Like throwing hands. And, I've had a couple homeboys who've been, shot and killed coming up, but it wasn't that. It wasn't Omaha. Like Omaha is different in that regard. Where this is more of a metro city, so you get metro city issues. So that was the biggest difference I saw, is like just the difference in how the neighborhoods did things and how people responded to violence. So that was like one of the things. Other than that, like people is people. Fact. Outside of a different accent, like different accent, different in dressing, the typical stuff.
Yeah.
But nothing crazy, to be honest with you. Everybody more friendly down there. Like everybody wave at you. And they like, even if you look lost, like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. Hi. Everybody, you just driving down the street, they just wave and go on by. Like, you don't know what he doing. Who is this?
I hear that. What was growing up, man? What was what did mental health look like in your city or even in your family unit?
I don't remember the words ever coming up, but it's one of those things where we don't think too much into it. We know who may have problems in the family, and it's just like, oh, they dealing with something. You know what I'm saying? Like it was never a conversation about mental health and mental wellness for the most part. But anybody that had an issue, it was, if they had an issue probably that was diagnosable or had been diagnosed, people will let you know, like, hey, they going through some stuff. And that was really the end of it. Yeah. Just wasn't a major dialogue point, kind of how it is now and kind of like the rhetoric we're in now. But I don't think it was, in what I was seeing in my family, it was never shunned like that. It just, you going through something, going to church, we're going to pray about it though. And I went to a family church. Like my grandmother's brother was the bishop.
Okay.
So I was in the church.
Yeah. Every church. Wednesday,
Listen, we got choir rehearsal. Saturday, we got Sunday service. Then we got to go take a trip. And I'm talking to my cousin, like, hey, bro, you going? Like, ain't that old girls' church? I'm like, yeah, you going? I go if you go. They going to be there? Yeah, we going. Because we going to be gone till 10 o'clock at night at church. Like, so, but I came up in the church, traveling church, and it was all about Kojic, too. So I tell people, like, let's jump around, run around. That's us. That's us. So, so if you had issues, we're going to go to church. We're going to pray about it. But it wasn't even, I think people kind of oversell that and be like, oh, all they do is they don't talk about it. They just want to pray to demons. It ain't like that. Like, but we do believe, in God being all and it can help the situation. But I don't think I ever felt like we couldn't talk about stuff in my family. Like, I think I had a very unique upbringing. My father's Nigerian, but he's not a typical Nigerian. Like, Nigerians known for being hard, rude, tough, don't bring none of that around type stuff. My dad was an artist. He's fun-loving, you know what I'm saying? He's an artist. He'll understand. You could talk to him about certain things for the most part. So, and my mom, she was the stern one, but you can talk to her. So it just wasn't discussed like that, but also it's a thing. It wasn't shunned either. It wasn't shunned. And now being an adult, having an adult relationship with your parents, like, you can talk about pretty much anything and everything. Like, and that's something I do notice that a lot of people don't have as adults is an adult relationship with their parents, which is pretty bad because it's like, y'all, you know, they still your parents. They gonna give you some guidance, but we shouldn't have a child relationship anymore. And I think if we had more, and it could be caused by either end, the child or the parent, but the better you're able to communicate with them. And that was kind of like a switch. Like once I went off to college, they started, they even gonna treat you a little like, no, you an adult. Yeah. You making adult decisions. We'll give you some guidance, but you grown. We done.
Good luck.
You can call me for a little money every now and then, but pay me back. But other than that, like we done. Hey, we did our job. We did our 18. Yeah. Did a hard 18. We got 2 more behind you. You know, so it works out.
Yeah, I think to your point that you just made, I've noticed like with a lot of the clients that I work with, especially the teenagers that are going into adulthood, a lot of them are wanting to run away from their parents. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of like, I don't want a relationship with them. I don't want to talk to them. And something that I've noticed like with these individuals is like the parent typically doesn't know how to communicate with their kid. And so like what you see is a progression of there's a parent who is able to domineer over a kid, right? And that only works for so long, right? I can domineer. For some, it works. It stops working a lot sooner. Like a kid gets to a young age where they got these influences that shows big rebellion. And so then they rebel and domineering no longer works. But for a lot of people, domineering will usually work up until about teenage years. Once those secondary influences really start kicking in, like your friends start influencing you, media really starts to have a big impact. And we're noticing too, like you said, with internet, media is having an impact on these kids a lot earlier. And so that pushback is coming earlier too. But they start smelling their own drawers, you know what I'm saying? And that's normal, but a lot of us like Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen X, all of that, millennial, not Gen Z, millennial, Gen Z, they on a whole nother thing. We grew up where it was like you're seen and not heard, and I talk about this a lot. And so with that, right, like the parent domineering and being able to rule over the kid only works for so long, and then once it doesn't work, communication is broken because from the parent's perspective, it's like, you don't listen to me no more. You don't hear me no more. But what the reality of it is like you never learned how to communicate effectively with your kid. And so then when they become an adult, they push away from them. But all that really does is it hurts the kid because now this trait that they learned of pushing away from their primary support, like that unconsciously is going to pass down from generation to generation because you never learned
how you're supposed to communicate with your child and how you're supposed to grow as they grow in the communication and see them beyond just a child. They're your child, but they're no longer a child. And I can see that a lot, and it's and you can see like as they get to adulthood, it's like a disenfranchisement from the family and from themselves a lot more. So, and I think that contributes to the loneliness aspect that's going around heavy with our young adults. They feel lonely, and I'm like, well, you got some, well, I don't really, and nobody ever comes back to the perspective of my parents were doing the best they could. Maybe let's make amends. And the parents don't ever say, my child is just responding to how I was treating them. Maybe we should make amends and figure this out. And, but we see it. I've seen it as well. I've talked to some of the youngsters. A lot of them feel that way. The running away aspect is heavy. I used to teach a class in the summer for Upper Bound, and I would make them use hip hop music to teach on public health and social justice and life in general. And I would make them write a paper. I might get one positive paper. And it's usually something to deal with the parents and how they feeling. And I'm seeing they always equating songs. They doing suicide songs and da-da-da. I'm like, You know, we'll talk a little, but I just wanted them to get it out.
Yeah.
I remember a paper from one student. She literally song about running away and going away. Like she just wanted to go away. I just heard she just got married, so I'm happy for her. I'm like, dang, I'm getting old. My student's 24, 25. Yeah. Calling me Mr. Ejike is crazy in public. Like, wait, what? Little girl. Like, oh, my bad, you grown. My bad. I got the same thing they parents got. Little girl, what you doing? Why are you here at my event? Get out of here. It's for grown-ups. I'm grown. I'm 24. My bad. But yeah, so definitely see. I think it's just we aren't taught. We just don't have the skill. We haven't had the skills or been taught a lot of times that we're supposed to grow in our relationships in general. Every last one of them. You're supposed to grow in your relationship with your parents. You're supposed to grow in a relationship with your kids. You're supposed to grow in your relationships with your partners. You're supposed to grow in your relationship with your friends. Like there's a growth that happens. There are going to be some things that are how they started in that dynamic, but at the same time, everybody's shifting, including ourselves, and we just don't ever come from the aspect of growth and understanding that we're all aging, we're all gaining more wisdom and more insight and information. So we're all gonna shift, and we have to be okay with shifting. A lot of us just aren't okay with shifting in general. Like we're not fine with change, mm-hmm. And that's usually the bottom line of it. We don't want things to change. I want you to stay right in the child's place, even though you're 30. You're making your own decisions, but you got to stay in the child because you're my child. I'm like, but I'm not a child. Just like you weren't a child. And we got to get to the point where we recognize where we've been hurt in our past, maybe with our parents. And you got to make an active choice if it was painful, if it was not ideal to not be that and to not do that and go seek out how to not do that. And just to change your behaviors. Like, it's okay. Once you recognize something, it's now your responsibility to do something about it.
Come on.
Ain't no more excuses. Mm-mm. You get them when you ignorant. Oh, you in the know? You don't get no more. They stop immediately.
Yeah.
Do something about it. Because now you're making an active choice. So we got to be okay with change and making active choices to do better and to be better. And being okay with saying, I don't know how to be better. Somebody help me, and go from there. But we ain't asking for no help.
Man. See, even in the lane of public health, and even in my lane of mental health, it really comes down to acknowledgement. Like that mm-hmm. first piece. Like once we can acknowledge, right? Like I ain't been on top of this, right? Mm-hmm. I ain't been on top of my own physical health and how I'm taking care of it and how I'm checking up on it. I ain't been on top of my mental health and how I'm taking care of it and how I'm checking up on it. Like that's where the real impact for the next generations comes. Mm-hmm. And I don't wish. My hope. No, I don't even want to say my hope. Like the mission is to get people to see that like it's gonna take our generation mm-hmm. being the models for the next generation, mm-hmm. like through talking about it, through pursuing careers in it, through bringing about awareness, mm-hmm. through going on campaign, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And really just drawing up that like this is a real thing and this is mm-hmm. what we need to pay attention to. It's gonna take that so that the next generations can see that and it mm-hmm. becomes a normal thing. Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate what you do. Mm-hmm. Like on all platforms, bringing it back. Like I said, like everything that you do is giving. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if I could see the CEO of a health clinic DJing my next event where I'm turning up, mm-hmm. you know what I'm saying? And being able to still get gems from them in that capacity. And then on the back end of that, right? I just heard you went and talked at my kid's school, mm-hmm. Bringing about awareness, and you brought condoms in there and you talking about, hey, we got free STI checks. You know what I'm like? That's the game changer. Mm-hmm. That's the game changer. That's where the impact really, really happens.
Yeah, it's humanizing. So I don't sit in my titles, bro. Like a lot of times I don't introduce myself unless somebody asks me my job title. I work at a clinic, right? I don't glorify. I don't care. Let me just say this straight up. I don't care about the title, bro. I do not care. Hell, I've told my board like, hey man, we gotta do this. I don't care. I'll leave, right?
Yeah.
I really mean that. Like I don't care about none of the titles, none of the accolades for real. Like I got some work to do. And a lot of this is just keeping myself active and doing stuff to fulfill myself. And then fulfilling myself, it just selfish things don't fulfill me. So and it's crazy because when you talking about it's not even a role model. It's just being a human, being like showing human, because we all human. And a lot of us, your doctors go out and do XYZ, right? Yeah, everybody do. I'm just able to show it and humanize myself. And we got to be able to, you know what I'm saying, to be honest with you, be cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be the cool nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I'm like, yo, I was it's crazy. I was just at a reunion a week and a half ago at my school. We have a Black alumni reunion every 3 years. So I'm up there. First of all, a girl called me Unc. I'm like, to my face, Unc. I'm like, hold on, who you talking to?
She said, I ain't that old yet.
But I am. If they a freshman, bro, they wasn't born when I entered college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we are. But I'm like, you stepping out tonight? I'm like, I'm stepping harder than y'all. What y'all talking about? I'm gonna be clean. But being a cool, like showing them that getting older don't mean you out of touch. It don't mean you stale. It don't mean you lame. It's just being older is cool. Like getting older is cool. You can be fly in every aspect. Like I should be able to walk in. Like I walked in and started talking to a group of students immediately. I'm in the multicultural center. I'm just introduce myself. Because by this age, I should be able to do that. And then just start talking. But now they be like, oh, he cool. He got some pizzazz. He got, you know what I'm saying? He cool. You see me out, we kicking it. You see me dressed, you're like, oh, he fly. Like, we ain't got to, getting older don't mean shelling up and hiding yourself. I think as you get older, you should be able to express yourself even more. You should be more comfortable with expressing who you are and what your interests are. All I do is operate in my interests, bro. I'm not, they'll be like, you do a lot. I'm like, it ain't real. Is it? I guess, but you don't do enough. You got all this stuff you know you want to do and you want to explore and you just don't. I just take my time to do it and figure it out while also having a child. You know what I'm saying? Like we figuring it out. One thing don't end the next thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember podcasting. We had our first episode on the podcast. I had to leave the show and leave the homies in my house because we had to go have a baby. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild.
Like we went from podcast, all right, y'all, we going to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So it's just exploring interests and being comfortable with who you are and constantly exploring that and living in that. And showing them, like, you could be this. Who said when you get a job, you got to be stale? Who said you got to stop doing? Like, if you're a dancer, go dance. You know what I'm saying? If you're an artist, continue your art. You can be an engineer and an artist. Who said you can't? But you got to show them, like, and it ain't going out my way. I'm just around. Like, oh, wasn't you just? Like, yeah. You want the playlist? Make sure you come to the clinic. You need an internship? Come holler at me, right? And it's just like, oh, we can do everything and meet them where they at and show them you don't gotta cut pieces off of yourself as you get older. You refine it. You really get down to what you really about and who you are, and then you hone in on that and move. But you don't mean you cut things off.
There we go. We're coming up on time, bro.
Yep.
And so, one last question that I got for you. If you had to leave the people with just a little bit of knowledge from you today, what would that be?
I think what's popping in my head now is don't be afraid to try and don't be afraid to explore. The world tries to give you boxes. You come from here, you do this. Ain't no such thing. The only limitations come from yourself. So explore, find out for yourself, look things up, try it, and see who you are. Don't let people tell you who you are. You actually, especially once you leave the house, you get to actively choose who you get to be. You don't have to be nothing. It's all a choice. So if you want to try something, try it. Some things you shouldn't try, but I ain't going to stop you either. But really look into figuring out who you are and being comfortable knowing that it's gonna shift. In time, those are gonna change. So find out who you are for now, and then be okay with continuing down that journey of finding out who you are tomorrow, and find out who you are a year from now, 5 years from now. So as long as you're ready to walk that journey, you'll be malleable, you'll be able to shift, you'll be adaptable, and you'll be learned. You'll gain a whole new set of skills and outlook that you couldn't even see possible. So explore.
Love that.
Yes, sir.
Bro, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you just talking about the things that you talking about, being vulnerable, opening up and giving back to the people in the capacity that you do. Real quick, if anybody wants to get plugged in with the clinic, needs to get testing, needs to, or not needs to, they have health concerns that they maybe haven't been addressing, and they're like, you know what, I want to come check it out. How can they do that?
Yep. So you can find us at the NOAHclinic.org. So www.N.O.A.H clinic.org. Or you can call us at 402-933-0737. We're open pretty much at noon every day except Wednesday. Wednesday and Sunday we're closed. But we're open at noon and go to either 5 or 6 on those days. But just call up. You can pop in. Again, we're at 5620 Ames Avenue. Just pull. If you're at the DMV, come on, walk right across.
Right across the street from the DMV.
Nobody know what you're there for. You can be getting a license. You can be getting your hair done, getting a haircut, but you can just hide and come on right into the clinic. So come get what you need. If you just coming to get a pack of straps, you know what I'm saying? They right at the front. We're actually working on trying to get this health vending machine. So if we need some funding for that, but trying to get this health vending machine put up there as well that they got around some places from Douglas County Health Department. But that's where you can find us again, NOAHclinic.org, 402-933-0737. That's where we at the clinic. Anything else? If you looking to get into some music, some stuff like that, podcasting, holla at me, Streets A&R. We at Streets A&R on all platforms. We're on. You can find us on everything but Apple, and you can go to streetsAandR.xyz for our landing page to click, see our latest episodes. We're gonna have some cool ones coming up real soon.
There we go.
Gonna set the city ablaze. hopefully set the city ablaze. But start some necessary fires. But they're gonna be good. And yeah, man, if you're just looking for anything, man, I'm always available. If you got my phone number, it ain't changed since high school, so you still got it. It's all the same. I'm easy to reach. You can find me at on Instagram, Twitter. You can find me at my real name. If you type in Errik Ejike, ERRIK EJIKE, you can find me everywhere. But I got my DJ moniker, Get Ejike with it, and you can find me like that.
There we go. We go. And for everybody out there that's watching, I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of the CYR Podcast, because when you clean your room, you change your life, you create your resilience, and you change your reality. We out of here.
Peace.
How you felt about that?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah, that was good.